In the video you are about to see, the operational manager of the Phelophepa Health Train, Dr Lillian Cingo, will walk us down the train describing its coaches. Her insights into the sometimes lesser known aspects of the train, behind the scenes, based on over 14 years of service to the South African poor, are arguably unique, given that Dr Cingo has now retired. But before Lillian introduces us to the train, a colleague of hers, the logistics and catering manager, Alan, provides us with an insight into Lillian herself and her unwavering dedication and compassion for the people she, her many colleagues and the Phelophepa Health Train serve.
Lillian, I know that she is a very compassionate person. She actually cares a lot about people. She has a very big heart. I haven't seen a woman like this in all my life. I mean, at one stage I did not know that she was crying when I actually went into the office and I saw her wiping her eyes, and then I saw her crying. Then I stepped out of the office and I asked one of the ladies why she's crying. She said no, it's because the people have not received treatment and she's got a compassion for them. She could not provide for them.
Because the train had to leave that day?
The train had to leave.
Maybe I'm going to make Lillian blush a little bit, but she's so well thought of in everywhere, and most of the staff, they call her Mama, Mama, and they get quite emotional when they talk about her. And so anyhow, enough of me. I'm just going to hand it over to Lillian, and she's going to introduce us to all the different coaches on the train and just outline what happens on each coach and so on. So over to you, Lillian.
Right at the end, where you can see we've got the stone, the train has got 16 coaches now, and that is where we keep the tables and the chairs and the tents, because before we get to an area, we get the community members to put up these awnings to make sure that the patients are safe. So that is called Coach 16. And of course, the Edu Clinic, which is our pride and sponsored by the Canon Collins Trust, is in Coach 15 also. Here we've got people from the community, as you probably know, who are trained on basic health, basic hygiene, social issues. And we also include traditional healers and people who perform circumcision. And that to me is a wonderful thing, because whether we like it or not, people will go to their traditional healer, come back to a clinician, and go back again. So it's very important that we work with them, so that with them we can see what maybe they're not doing right and what they can change, and at the same time affirm them on their listening skills, because let's face it, Rafi, they sit with the patient for 2 to 3 hours,
yes,
and it doesn't bother them. No. And that is a healing process in its own. And they also go to the patient's home and they check there, supposedly for their patient, but they can also see the dynamics in the family, and then they probably will realize that it's not just the patient who is ill, but the whole family probably needs some attention. So they're here, and at the end of the week they get a certificate of attendance. Then after that, they have a course on home-based care. What is new, of course, in this Edu Clinic is that now we get a retired teacher from the community to facilitate after we've orientated her about Phelophepa training and what is expected of her in this. And that was the suggestion of the Canon Collins Trust, which we respect very much. So now here we come to my office, the admin office. This is where I welcome visitors, and this is where we have our meetings. Oh, it's in a mess, I'm sorry. I should have tagged it before. Oh my God.
Don't worry, I won't film that.
We welcome people here, and we also have our meetings here. And on Tuesdays, the members of the community, mayors, councillors, people from the Department of Health, Department of Education, taxi associations, police, youth organizations, organizations, they come and welcome the staff and the students and thank them for coming. So it's a very big thing that happens here. But you can see it's small, it's only a train. It can at most accommodate 10 to 15 people at a push. But sometimes there are 30 people, 40 people, and then we do this outside.
I've been here when there's been 30 people. Oops.
Yeah, that too. And then now we come to the pharmacy. The pharmacy has got two pharmacists, pharmacist Lizzie and another pharmacist is Mabuza, and she's our ex-student. So we're always pleased to have our ex-students coming back to be permanent staff members. The pharmacy is designed in such a way that when the train moves, medicines don't fall out.
Okay.
Of course, we have got sponsors who help in most of these departments. Now, this is an important part. You can see that there are students. The train is run by final year students. So the students listen as the pharmacist is explaining everything to the patient. And also then we also have got interpreters who also have to listen and explain if maybe the patient does not understand. It's quite important for the young professionals to understand how to deal with rural communities, because in rural communities sometimes there are no fridges, and you must have a way where you can explain to a rural person how they are going to keep medication if you say in a fridge. So our young professionals have to say, you must say this and that if the patient has got no fridge. And also they've got to be sensitive into the cultures of the various communities, because in some African communities, really talking about sex and how you must have the condom is a very sensitive thing, and for adults also. So we teach them as to how to deal with those situations, so that whilst they are giving education, they also do not embarrass the patients. So this is the pharmacy. It's very small. I was like, here we are.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, hello. Our pharmacist. This is So we go down the train now. This is the accommodation area, part of the accommodation area. I sit on this coach together with the deputy manager, Sister Maggie and Dikina. The rooms are very small, as you have noticed, and you have to really wake yourself up when you have to turn. And this is Lynette's room when she's, this is Maggie's room, I beg your pardon, and this is Lynette's room, and then this is the deputy manager's room, Sister Maggie. Sister Maggie is going to be in charge of the train when I leave. I don't know the one. So now we come to the health clinic. We have got sponsors here who sponsor the health clinic and the pharmacy. It's very interesting because we're there to listen a lot to rural communities. One of the policies of the train, and I think one of the things that have made the train a success, is because we involve the community. We check with them what they need and what the problems are, even in areas like this, because now we met with the chiefs in the areas, because even with the government that is here appointed in a democratic society, rural communities still listen to their chiefs, and the chiefs know what is happening in the community. So in 1995, the chiefs told us that they've got problems with children's ears. And at the time, I wasn't quite sure about that, but we realized that the chiefs were right. So we've got a special room where we test children. Yeah.
So the chiefs are very much involved in the health of their communities. It's not just a matter of politics. They're very big.
The chiefs are very much involved in the health of the communities. In fact, they are involved in everything that concerns the community. Whether the people have got houses, whether the people have got food, who has got food, who is hitting his wife, and there's punishment. There's usually a meeting for the elders to deal with the person who is hitting his wife. And if a wife is maybe unfaithful, it doesn't usually go to court. The chief has to call a meeting, and the women and the men discuss what has happened, what were the dynamics, Was this man fulfilling his obligations? Why? So they are involved with everything that happens within a community. They also know how many children have single parents, how many children are running homes. They are totally involved, and you cannot, in fact, say you know much about rural communities if you do not involve the chiefs, and that's why they usually form part of the coordinating committee. So this is now the health clinic report, and students here who are doing their final year in nursing, they are supervised, as you know, by clinicians. We also, hello, one of the students here.
Oh, hello.
And I don't know if the deputy manager is here. This is the deputy manager, as you know, Sister McKinney. I told you that when I leave the train, she'll be in charge of the train. And she also helps in the facilitation of the education. She orientates the retired teacher. So we're still busy, you know. It's after nearly 7 o'clock, but the clinics are busy. Have you got anything to say, ma'am?
Rafi, it has been a pleasure to have you around. We hope that you travel safely back to your home, and we also hope that you've learned something from this experience.
I most certainly have, and I really am so grateful for all your hospitality and your patience and your time to basically teach me so many things that I'm very grateful to have learned. So I thank you all for that.
We are going to miss you. You were part of this family.
I really am going to miss all of you.
So please keep in touch.
God willing, I will.
Thank you.
You haven't heard the last of me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So one of the students, the train is really run by students. Without the students, there would be no train. They are the heartbeat, they're the pulse of this train.
And these are the students, the final year dental students, the final year nurses, the final year optometrists.
Yes, in psychology we have those who are doing their masters or are doing their internship. Also final year students in pharmacy.
Yes.
And even in the catering department, we've got students doing hotel management, catering and hospitality.
And these are the people who provide a lot of the manpower or woman power to staff the train.
Yes, the staff on the train really depends on them. They give that women and manpower, and they're dedicated. And also, it's interesting because we talk a lot about the fact that the train gives care to rural communities and curative measures, but also the train is about alerting our young professionals as to the need in rural communities. So some of our students in the end request to come for the second and third time on the train when they see the need and the role they can play, and some of them apply to work on the train. So some of my staff members were my students, and also as we go through rural areas, some of them have decided to give 2 or 3 years in the rural community. So the train has changed their whole perception about life, and that's what we want.
Yes. I can relate to that. After spending time with the train, your perspective on things can be slightly affected.
It does get affected, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
Somehow it does, and you cannot change the situation. So this is our dental department. I'm very proud of this dental department because one of the things that the nurse has been determined about, and which I congratulate you about, with the help, of course, of all the clinicians, is the fact that we have never wanted rural people to have second class in anything. We feel that they've been so disadvantaged in so many ways that they have had third grade or fourth grade. So on this train, we try and make them get first grade.
This is all the latest equipment.
This is the latest. This is the latest equipment. Even professors from private hospitals and universities envy us. They cannot believe what got this. So, fortunately, we are coming to the dental department, and the dentist is here. The name of the dentist is Dr. Aubrey Maslan, and he has got students who are doing their final year of room dentistry.
So, what's the prognosis for this patient? Hunger.
Very full.
And the students are from Victoria University, and they've done a fantastic job. So maybe the dentist would like to say something.
Please.
Hi, it's Dr. Masilana, and it's just a privilege to work in the train. We have high-tech equipment, and everything that we do, try to keep it professional and of high quality, as Phelophepa stand for high quality service. But I think there's just a lot of difference that we're making in the community. after you see what you've done to the community, the feedback that we get has been great, and we're grateful to all the sponsors that are helping us, and we can only wish for more in the future.
I understand that this clinic is one of the busiest clinics on the train, so the need is huge.
Yeah, the need is very, 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 very huge. On average, we see over 100 patients a day. That's a lot, meaning each student see over 20 patients a day.
In normal private practice or in a hospital, what would the average number be?
In a hospital, on average, you get, if it's a busy hospital, maximum of 30 per day, depending on if it's a regional, a provincial, or a district hospital.
Yes.
But I think in all instances, whether provincial or regional, I think in the train we still see the most patient to compare to a hospital, even in a week, for them in a month. It's still a very huge number.
Well, I take my hat off to all of you. All of you work so hard.
Thanks to the students for their hard work. It's because of them.
Thanks, Doctor.
You're a great doctor. One of the students want to say something?
Who wants to say something?
We couldn't have had a better doctor than Dr. Marcelino. Seriously. When we first came here, we thought we were scared and everything, but I feel very confident. I feel like specializing.
But you can tell me the truth off camera. Thank you.
But
Bye-bye.
I think that also what is important is that we don't just extractive with education and everything. Our patients understand now cause and effect. So we talk about nutrition, also about looking after their teeth. And so we clean and we floss and we do fillings. Initially when we started the department, most patients just came for extraction, but now people come for cleaning and flossing, which is new to rural communities, and also filling the teeth. So the education aspect of it is really quite important.
And it runs through the train.
Yes, the education runs through the train. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now this is still the dental department. And of course, you know that we go to schools also to screen children. At that meeting of the marketers, we would have had a recommendation that we must meet teachers, so that teachers from certain schools, 4 disadvantaged schools and 2 high schools, to come and meet us. So as we work on the train, some members of the staff and students also go to schools and we screen for health problems, dental problems, eye problems, give education, and the children are brought to the train, those who need spectacles. So there's quite a lot, but also the teachers ask for psychology input, and they tell us what their problems are, and depending on what they want from the psychologists, we give those workshops. We also have got a journey practitioner who works with the schools, with the children, and with the teachers. So when we live in an area, we feel that we've contributed something, but the important thing is that we try as much as possible to give skills and to train people so that we can continue from where we left off.
Yes.
And of course in psychology we try to work with social workers and nurses so that they can support and sustain.
And these are all part of the so-called outreach range of activities, are they?
Yes, that is part of the outreach program. The outreach program is very important because people feel very involved with it. So now we enter psychology. I don't know if the psychologists are still here or it's not here, but it would have been fun for you to see the family room. This area, in fact, this train has been upgraded. It's not like the old train that we started with. We realized that with some of the problems, obviously, you don't just need to speak to the child or the wife, you need the whole family. So we've got a family room which has got a marvelous color scheme, warm colors so that the family can feel relaxed. And all our psychology rooms have got those warm colors. Initially, rural people didn't quite understand about psychology, as you can imagine. It had always been associated with maybe when you go to court or something like that. But now they know that there's somebody to listen to them, and they come and they share their problems, and we give workshops. And most of the students who are here are doing their masters or internships, serious internship, their parts, because obviously it's a very serious department. So this is the journey, as I mentioned. It works with visualization. It has been found through research that a lot of our personalities have developed from when we were young, whether we lost people or not. And here's the journey practitioner. She probably is going to speak to you, Mrs. Veni Pillay.
Good evening, sir. Sir, but tomorrow the lady cancelled the school. She's got a sports day and she didn't realize.
Okay, no problem.
I'm so sorry about that. You know what? Are you going to be with us after the operational week?
No.
He's going to do. So tell him about what you do.
Well, come spend some time with me tomorrow. I will do a journey process with
Okay.
you. And then you will have the full experience of how this feels inside yourself. And then you can take that memory with you.
Okay. What time?
That will be my gift to you.
Thank you.
The most important thing now, this is a video that is going to be used in London, so if you just say what you do on the train.
Sorry to put you on the spot like this, but...
I'm a journey practitioner. That means there's a program or a process that actually goes into the emotions, the negative emotions of a person. You know what, you should experience this tomorrow and then we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Because now you're going to go into something
Yes.
that you may say, I'm not going to do it. Or rather you experience it, then
Yes.
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Just scrap that part.
Okay, I'll scrap that part then. I'll catch you later.
Sir.
Thank you. See you tomorrow morning.
I was thinking of you all day. How do I reach
Oh.
you? And there you
There
are.
I am. God's will. See you.
Then now we come to the eye clinic. I don't know if you met Dr. Tans.
Yes, I am. Yes, please.
I think they're having a meeting. The network was going to have a meeting with them just to see where they are. And then Charles started with me in 1995. Well, look at our equipment. Can you imagine there are people getting all this? It's superb.
It is.
I'm really proud of what we can give to them. And in return, they feel so valued and respected to have equipment like this.
Well, I've heard you orientate the students on a Sunday, and one of the many things you said was that these people have never experienced kind of quality healthcare, and they also need to receive respect and consideration from all the health professionals on the train. And
well, I think that is very important, and it's important for us when we orientate the people from the community and anybody else who comes with the train, that we've got to treat them in a special manner to make them feel valued and important, because most of the time rural people are undermined. And sometimes, even with health professionals, they are not articulate enough, and sometimes they're shy to ask questions. So it's for us to explain and explain so that they understand what happened, could it have been prevented, and now that it has happened, what to do. But also for casual employees, it's important to understand that everybody should be treated with dignity and respect, and at the same time, they must treat each other with dignity and respect. And really, one of the things we want is that anybody who has been on the train must go home feeling, oh, today I felt good, I was treated decently, I'm important, I matter, I got the best medicine, I got the best attention, so that they feel good about themselves. Because some people have stopped feeling good for a long time, because for a long time they didn't matter, they did not exist, they were invisible. So we want to say, you know what, you're visible and you're important.
And you know what? I think you achieved that. When you speak to the people who've received treatment and care at the train, they go away glowing.
Oh, thank you for that. Really, I appreciate when you say that, because it makes me feel good to know that what we are giving to the communities is what we really want to give them. Because you cannot always be there to check whether what you've said is being done. You can only hear from the community member that this is. So now, by the time the patients come here, this is now the end of the eye clinic. But they've been screened outside, and those who need reading glasses will have been told they can get reading glasses. But we will also give a talk about reading glasses, because some people just think that, well, if I get a pair of glasses, I will be able to walk outside. So we tell them that, you know, they're only for reading, and at a certain age, you mustn't ask for this, but also you must ask to be tested so that you can find how it is with you. And so they are screened, and then they've got these machines here. After that, we get to them with autoreflectors, attenuators to check intraocular pressure, and then they will be examined in those rooms. By the time they come here to our optic dispenser, Abel, and also our general assistant we have in the eye clinic, Andres Magoko, and the students who work here. Prescriptions have been done. And to make sure that rural people go home with their spectacles, we've got these auto-adjusted cutting machines so that they can go with on the same day with their spectacles. And we're proud because we used to have really old-fashioned spectacles, but now we've got beautiful spectacles.
I've heard very fashionable
They're
ones.
very fashionable, but of course it means that sometimes we have to see less patients because cutting takes a long time.
Right.
But it's good to make people again feel valued, but also look beautiful in the process.
Yes.
So I don't know if Abel and I just want to say anything. We've got the student here. And I don't know, you've met Sidwell. Sidwell is in charge of internal logistics, and he supervises the cleaning of the train, and he also is in charge of stock control. So he's one of the permanent staff members. So all these people, Abel, the object dispenser, and Andres are part of the permanent staff. Andres is in charge of the external logistics. He helps here, and he supervises the putting up of these tents and tables and make sure that everything outside is okay, toilets are clean, and every day it means we have to work with new pleasure employees, which is quite something.
Yes. That is another chapter in itself.
Another chapter in itself.
But Lillian,
Sidwell, do you want to say anything? Okay. Did you take Sidwell's photo?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So we're still in the eye clinic. We have got a lot of cubicles for the eye clinic. The need for this intervention is quite enormous in rural communities.
Would you say this is the second most, one of the top two busiest
Well,
clinics?
it's the first.
This is the number one.
Yes, it's number. Well, between the dental department, it's difficult to say. But the need in rural areas is that, okay, they might have the clinics, but definitely there are not enough dentists. Maybe there could be a dentist for one hospital who comes twice a month and sees only 30 patients. You can imagine. And then, of course, in the eye clinic, there are no optometrists, no opticians in the rural communities, and if they're there, they charge pounds, rands and rands and rands. So people cannot afford.
Exactly. On the train, is the average price for a pair of spectacles 30 rand?
Yes, just under £3, 30 rands.
But on the high street, or I'm using the word high street, or the words high street, but out there, beyond the train, a pair of spectacles will be a couple of hundred rands.
Oh yes, I think they say 600, 800 and 1,500 rands.
Which is way beyond the affordability of many.
They just cannot afford it. They just cannot afford it. Some people can't even afford the 30 rands. And that's why we appreciate it sometimes when we put people who are helping with to fund those people who can't afford the 30 rands for spectacles.
I heard today there was one person who came who hadn't seen for 10 years. They were given the spectacles and they were almost crying. I don't know who. Can't remember who I heard that from. But today was the first time they'd seen in 10 years. Clearly.
Well, some people haven't seen an optometrist or an optician for 20 years, 10 years, and some of them have not seen their grandchildren. So one of the greatest things he said he was going to do when he gets home is to get his 8 grandchildren and look at them because he'd never seen them. So he was just in tears. And some of the people from the community work here. This lady is one of the outside cleaners, this young man, and they work and get some pay. We've got security on the train, as you know.
Hello.
The train,
my good friends.
We've got night and day security. So that was the end of the clinics. Now this is where the permanent staff live. You will see that the dentist lives here, the optometrist lives here. All these clinicians, well, most of them are here. But of course, in code 765, which is the students' accommodation, we also have some of our staff members, just to be sure that when we need to evacuate perhaps there is quick action.
It must be tough for the permanent members with all these young, kind of rowdy students around.
Oh, it is. When you're young, you are so full of life, and 10 p.m. is like early evening. And for some of us, 10 p.m. is not early evening at all. You want to rest. But also, staff have to do their admin work and really concentrate on things, but it's something that has to be done because we need to be sure that the train is safe and that if anything happens, the students will be evacuated quickly.
Yes.
So this is still accommodation. This is some of the things. So because one of the things that is interesting, well, not so interesting, but the students cannot believe that at orientation I have to tell them that they're only allowed 3 minutes under the shower. They ooh-ah about that because they've never done it, but if they don't do it, of course, we run out of water. And also one of the stipulations is that if we put you in coach 5, you must use the loos and the bathrooms and the showers in coach 5. Don't go to coach 6 or 7 because you might also use their water, and then who are we going to blame when the water is finished?
Yes.
So sometimes, for instance, when we got to Stepney on Tuesday, there was a shortage of water, so I had to say the last of 3 minutes is finished, 1.5 minutes.
Tops and tails.
Yeah, on Thursday I said you top and tail. So it's a shock to them, but it also unless them and make them realize just how difficult it is for rural people. So I say, yes, I'm sorry that this is happening to you, but this is only for you for 2 weeks. But this is how rural people live. And that again really moves them, and they realize how lucky they are.
Yes, which is important.
Yes. So still accommodation. Accommodation. So we've got some of the stuff in here. And these are the shower areas. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're not bad really considering it's only a train.
And they're clean.
Thank you very much. That is one of the things we get complimented about, and I like it because living in an enclosed space like this.
So many people on top of each other.
Yes. So that is one of the things that we like. But also in view of that, and in view of the fact that we are a health train, we also do swabs, random swab taking, just to see whether there's any infection or any germs. And we don't tell people, just take, send to the lab to see whether we're going to grow anything. So we're coming to the end now. This is coach 5.
How many permanent staff members do you have?
We've got 19 permanent staff and 39 students. This is where the students live. It's very cooperative, There are 3 here. That is another shock to the students when they come. I mean, they are told by the investors that you're going to share, but in their imagination, they do not imagine that they're going to live in this enclosed space. So, the students get a lot of shocks. And there's a shock about 3 minutes, then the rooms, then the numbers of patients. They're waking up at 6 o'clock, they work from 7:30 until 8 o'clock or 9 p.m. It's a shock to the system. So we also have to think on ways of motivating them, but also giving them feedback as to what the patients are saying so that they can feel that they are really doing something. Because it is... Okay, sorry. It is quite a thing that we need to adapt to. So for our young professionals, we're really proud because they adapt and they're flexible. And working those hours and still being able to smile is quite a thing.
Yes. I think for most of them, it's such a positive experience.
And we meet again.
You're just off the camera, aren't you?
Well, for most of them, it is a wonderful experience. And they say that it's an experience of a lifetime. That is our canteen. We sell drinks to students and staff members, and this is our dining car. We've got people from the community who work here.
Hi.
There's also a check on stock control. People who work in the kitchen are also giving information about the importance of checking the expiry date of things, because that is something that
Yes.
So we've got a catering manager here, Mr. Colin Boucher,
Yes.
and also an assistant catering manager, Mr. Alan Woodley. of interest, of course, the universities usually send us a list as to how many students they are sending us, because we've got a stipulation that we need so many optoms, so many, because you can see that the blood situation is important. But they also have to send us a list as to how many vegetarians we've got, how many halal, how many kosher, so that we can prepare for that.
That's a huge juggling act, isn't it? All the different dietary requirements. And after spending almost 4 weeks with the train, I can say it just seems to go flawlessly. And that's all credit, well, from what I could see.
Yes.
And I think that's great credit to Colin and Alan and all their staff.
I think that is a huge thing, and it's a very important thing to be aware of. So really, I am glad that you think that I compliment them all the time, because it's a job on a daily basis.
On a daily basis,
yes.
And Alan and Colin, they have to orientate the volunteers at every week. I mean, if you put yourself in the situation of operating a business, let's say a restaurant, and you have to train staff every week, I think that would make most managers pull their hair out.
Well, I compliment them, because honestly, as you say, they do it every week, and every week is a new group of people. Some of them have never worked in their lives. They've got to talk about the work ethic, you've got to talk about punctuality, and also even just about washing hands and making sure that everything is clean all the time, and that work is done conscientiously, and also with speed. Speed is a very important thing on the train.
Yes. And some time ago we had a conversation about two people complementing each other, and I believe someone like yourself and Dr. Kutsi are just a fantastic team. The way your different skills and your kind of perspectives, they work fabulously together, and the proof of that is in the pudding. The proof of that is in this train. So similarly in catering, it seems that Alan and Colin are also like a dream team.
I think that Alan and Colin are just such a wonderful couple. They complement each other. And when I look at them, I think what a wonderful thing we did to have these two together. Because again, sometimes the success of a project depends on the staff you have. And it also depends very much on your colleague, on their commitment, on their passion, but also how you complement each other and how you feed into each other's weaknesses and strengths, and how you are a chain. I always feel on the chain you are a chain, and we're as strong or as weak as any of us, because otherwise it all falls apart.
Yes. And again, when I look at, say, these pairings, say yourself and Lynette and Colin and Alan, when you look at the kind of, how can I put it, the racial kind of, like, Lynette is a white lady, you're a black lady, Alan is Asian, he's Indian origin, Colin is Afrikaans. What can you say about that aspect of the train in healing? Because it's not just about providing dental services or a health clinic or counselling. It's got this...
Hello, I think from 1995, when I started working on the train, I saw the train as a microcosm of what South Africa is like or should be like. And also, it was a challenge for all of us that healing on the train will not just be on a physical level. That healing on this train will be emotional, psychological, mental, and that people will heal each other. And that is also with the patients. The way we want to treat patients in a dignified manner and in a respectful manner. It's about healing, about making sure that the healing is emotional and mental before you go into the physical. Because some of them have been traumatized and, as I said, not treated with dignity and respect and not made to feel they matter. So you make them feel they matter. But at the same time, even us as staff members grew up in a fragmented society, in a society that undermined each other, that didn't think of each other, that were living far apart from each other. So we didn't really know each other. So the train brings all of us in this pot, and we've got to make sure that we swim, that we get on well together, because we cannot afford to drown, because this train needs us to swim. because we also have got to be role models to the people who see us. But I think it is the passion also that goes very much into this. For instance, Lynette and I are from different backgrounds, different racial groups. We could easily not have liked each other, which would not have helped the train. Because in a situation like we Lynette and I, people could have had divided loyalties, and once you have divided loyalties, then you can't win. But somehow, because we had the same passion, we viewed this train as our important thing, and we learned from each other, it has been a success. I learned so much from Lynette. I learned so much about business and about so many other ways of running a train, because she'd been at the release for a long time. I was just a health professional who just came to work on a train, so I learned a lot about also the regulations about train running, things that I didn't know about. But you must be prepared to learn, and you must also accept that you did not know this, so you must be prepared to learn. And that is also a challenge amongst all of us on the train and in South Africa,
yes.
that you must know that I do not know this. And it doesn't matter that I don't know, I must now learn, so that in the next 5-10 years I must be an expert in it.
Yes.
And it mustn't be a point where you think, well, I've been appointed, I must sit back now and think, well, I'm in this important position. You were perhaps appointed because of the potential, so you must prove that, you know, I can learn, I can be the best in this. So the train helps with that. Now, Colin's mother is English, father of Africans, and we've got his assistant, Alan Model, who is Asian, and it could have been a disaster, but they're making a success of it. They get on well together. Alan is prepared to learn, and Colin is learning from Alan, and that is the way it should be. There should be no conflict.
No. I think it's a shining example of what can be outside this train as well.
It is a shining example of what things should be, what can be, but that also, for me, it goes back to what Mahatma Gandhi said: be the change you want to see in the world. Don't expect other people to change if you don't change. Don't expect other people to learn from you if you don't want to learn from them. Don't expect other people to adapt when you don't want to adapt. So,
can I ask you about the role of faith, as far as you're concerned? How you view the train and how that fits with your faith? And
well, I think for me, faith has always played an important part. I was brought up by Christians, but I also believe that the way I came to the train and the way I was trained, it was God who directed all those things, so that I should be able to come and work on the train. And also the way that my father insisted that I go to all these provinces and learn the languages of these Sotho and Jwana and Zulu and go to Durban and learn about the Asians. I'm pleased about that, because it was something that he insisted on, that if I want to be in the health profession, then I must know these languages, so that I must be able to talk to people, but also that the traditions and the cultural aspects are very important when you're a health professional, so learn about that. And also, I think that he had a faith, and my mother also had a faith, and she used to go on horseback.
On horseback?
Yes, she was a teacher, and then when we grew up, she went and did a course on home something. She was really a sort of social worker and nurse and everything, and she used to go on a horse with baked clothes, old clothes that we had. And she used to treat children who were burnt by paraffin stoves. She used to teach rural people how to make their candles, how to make their Vaseline, vegetable gardens and all this. And then sometimes she would bring them home, some of the people who were really ill, and also children who were burnt by paraffin stoves, and say, oh, well, we'll take them to see a doctor on Wednesday. And of course, you'll take them to the doctor, and the doctor wouldn't be there. It would have rained, and there's mud, and the cars can't go, or the doctor just would not turn up at the general store. So she would bring them back and say, oh, so we got used to having people who were ill being nursed, and then once they got better, she would take them home. But when you're young, you don't think those things make a difference. But I think that it made me aware of the needs as I grew older and realized. So when I was in London, I thought, I've been so lucky in so many ways. I would like now to go back to rural communities and give my best. But the faith is important for me, because I know that I'm directed by the highest, by God. And it's important for me when things really get tough to just say, you know what, God, I just leave this to you. You just deal with this now because it's beyond me. And even with the patients, when I'm so upset that sometimes we can't see all of them, and I think, I say, God, these are your people. I hope that you are going to make things easier for them. And even with the students sometimes will say to me, Lillian, let's see more patients. The staff sometimes go on and on, they take and they take and they take, but at a certain point we have to stop, because A, they can make mistakes, but also the following day they need to work again. So I say, let's stop. And behind your eyes, he smiles upon the earth, and from your lips he speaks, but also he's in charge, and we must know our limitations. So I turn to God, and every morning, I say, you know what, God, now the train is yours. You make it work, and today you're going to make it work. So, this is now the kitchen. We've got people from the community who are helping us, and this is one of our students from Walter Sisulu University who is doing hotel management, catering and hospitality. So, do you want to say anything?
No, nothing.
Good food. I'll say something. Good food. Keep it up.
So, I don't know if Alan is not here, is he? No. So, still accommodation now from this end of the catering department. Here, very much needed. There's a lot of work the people in the catering department have to do. They're the first to get up in the morning at 4:30 to prepare the breakfast for us, and they're the last to go to bed. So we've got really great respect for them. The thing is, on the train, everybody gives their very best. The security, the catering department, the various departments, the staff members. This train wouldn't run without these dedicated, caring staff members who just give and give and give.
I totally have seen that in my time here. Alan, for example, the assistant catering manager, he says that we don't do this for the money, we do it for the love of the people. And without that kind of passion, spending 9 months of the year on a train like this with only a few visits back to see your family, it would be beyond most people, I think, unless you have that kind of feeling inside you.
Well, some people do come and say, I wouldn't be able to do this. How do you do it? So here we are. This is now... Hello, sir. This is the catering manager, Mr. Colin Bosch. I think you've seen him.
I have seen him.
This is a wonderful man who has been all these years, since 1994, been in charge of the train in the catering department.
I've heard he likes rugby.
Colin, have a word. What
was the question?
I've heard you like rugby.
Until a week from now.
Yeah, I would like it. How would I put it?
Do tonight.
Life without, coffee without milk is like life without rugby. Something in that line. I can't get the correct phrase. And it's so difficult. I had it 1 year. It so happened that the Super 14 competition started on a Friday, and there was a cricket test that also started between, I think it was South Africa and England on that same Friday. And I happened to ask the net, but how are we supposed to do our work?
It's good to know what the priorities are. Colin, could you tell me briefly what this train means to you, and briefly, just a...
What the train means to me? It's looking after deprived people. Looking after people that were forgotten for so many years. And I would say, for many years I always used to say I'll do it indirectly, but actually we're doing it directly, from the catering side.
Yes.
And it's good to see, like, even if you take a walk outside the clinic, seeing the people's faces, their appreciation on their faces, especially from exiting the clinic.
Yes.
After they've been seen to, makes you realize that you know what the actual reason is why you've actually, like with myself, I'm speaking for myself, that's probably why I've stayed here as long as what I have.
Well, I take my hat off to all of you. I have just so much admiration and respect for all of you that work here. I mean, it's something that I will never forget as long as I live. It's very, very humbling.
Well, you know, that makes it so difficult. You know, I always threaten every year, lots of the shop owners that know me so well, every year when I get to them, they say, you still at the train? I say, yeah. I said, but I'm finishing up this year. 2 years later, I walk into... I said, but you said you were finishing up 2 years ago. I said, I know what I said, but we won't talk about that now.
Thank you, Colin.
Do you know where Alan is?
He's either in the kitchen or out. Is he not in his room?
I don't think he's in his room.
Or then he's outside.
At the bride.
Oh, is that right? Oh, he's out there then. So here now is the laundry. We need to wash and make sure that we are smart every day. We do our own washing and ironing. Even though there is a lady who is from the community, she's responsible for the linen. But we have to work as a team. The train also teaches you to be a team member because we have got team security, someone like duty and day duty. And even though they've got their own caravan and live there, they still are here to do their washing and ironing. And then of course there are the students and staff members. So there are about 70 people using just 2 irons
and
2 washing machines and 2 tumble dryers.
Oh my word.
So we have to make sure that everybody is tidy and smart and professional, and there are no excuses. You cannot say, I couldn't iron, I couldn't look smart, because you've got to be a role model. You've got to be presentable. You've got to look what you want to do.
Yes.
So then there's a storeroom, and then right at the end is the power car. The power car is what gives us the electricity. So when we come to an area, we know that we are not going to bother anybody. So one of my challenges too about learning was the fact that when they appointed me, they said, oh, well, you've got a medical background, you are a nurse, you're a psychologist, but we've got to train you as a train manager. You can't go to the train. There's never been a woman who has been a train manager, and even a white woman, and now here you are, a black woman, you are going to be a train manager. So Lynette told me, you've got to be trained as a train manager. I hadn't bargained for that, so I had to go to mainland station. I had to be taught how to do the hand signals, how to shunt the train, how to put diesel in the train, how to change the engines in an emergency, drive the train. So that was an experience, and that's why I tell the casual employees and everybody who comes on the train that this is a learning experience for you. There should be no day we go to your room or home and you have not learned at least 2 things.
Yes. And even for the guests like myself, it's true as well. I think we learn something new every day.
You learn something too.
Yes.
So that is your train.
Thank you very much for your time. I know Lillian is incredibly busy, and I've been a bit cheeky asking her for this, but believe me, it'll be worth it.
I'm sure it will be.
Ravi, you know,
I just want to say...
the answer to that question about the rugby was,
yes.
Life without rugby is like strawberries without cream.
I understand perfectly now. Let me just film this permanent member of the crew, the cat.
She's executive member of the crew.
Executive member?
Yes.
And probably she's the one that gets all the cream, isn't it?
But Colin, just say how we don't know how she escaped being killed.
We were at Ditchwa, a very rural station, and Zander, our psychologist, saw this mother cat and the 2 little ones outside his clinic, running around there. In the evenings, you used to hear the cats meowing under his coach. And when it came to the Friday when we had to move to Butterworth, he was looking around because he was concerned about the cats in the train moving, that they could be hurt. And all that he saw was the mother and the 1 little one, and he never knew where the other one was. But then so it came that we had to move. And when we got to Butterworth, we parked the train and everything, and then this was on the Friday. On the Saturday morning, he came to me and he said he heard a cat meowing under his coach again. That he went later the afternoon and he had a look, and he found this little mite under the coach, which means that somewhere under the coach, by the wheels, or somewhere there, this little one stuck it out for about 2.5 hours. That's how long the journey was.
That's a miracle, isn't it?
She stuck it out till there. He had quite a battle. I won't say what it looked like when he got out under the coach, but he got hold of it, and immediately the response was...
Xander did that, did he?
Yes.
He rescued her.
Xander brought her down. And, because he actually wanted to take her home, but he first had to find out by his parents. Now, they've got 2 little staffies at home, and his mom was concerned about the staffies and a cat, because they've never had a cat before. And then I naturally opted to take the cat because we've got a miniature zoo at home. But dogs are cat friendly and that, so she would fit in.
She's going home.
You're taking home this weekend.
She's
a good home.
She's got 2 more sleeps left on Phelophepa, and then going home. But I'm actually a bit worried because I wanted to take her down to the admin this morning to show Lynette.
Yes.
And the minute I walked out the dining car door with her, she started clawing, and she was
uncomfortable.
You could see that scaredness, or what would you call it? She was afraid and fear in her. Because the first thing going through her mind is, being a stray cat, you were going to throw away again after she's been looked after well. And although I say myself that she has been looked after very well, all the staff members on the train have taken a big liking to her. Everyone knows her name is Baby, and she's just come in and stolen everyone's hearts.
She's just like you, just a tiny little pussycat.
Thank you very much.
And it just shows that the reach of the train is endless. A little cat, a stray little cat.
Well, the train is about caring. The train is about working together. The train is about teamwork. The train is about sharing. Hello. So let's go and see Alan. Where's Alan?
He's probably outside.
Well, I'm just going to take you out and I'm going to leave you.
Yes, Doctor.
On Thursdays, we usually have a bride. And especially a Thursday when the students are going to be going away, because it's like, instead of having dinner, they will have a bride and a barbecue. So these are the various students. Where is Alan?
He's sitting there.
So the students from various
Nice.
And this is the assistant case manager, and he's supervising all this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to say anything, Alan?
Oh, go on, Alan. Go on.
No.
Alan is the most amazing personality in the train. He sits, well, I won't say sits, he's always running, but he's always running around the train, doing 1,000,001 jobs, and he's always a happy, beaming face when you come into...
Most definitely, yes, that's right. But it's great to have you, Mr. Khan. You're a wonderful man. You know how it's been from the time you came here. It's all work and no play. But it's nice. It'll be sad to see you go. But I do wish that they will send you back again.
I sincerely hope so. I've just the people on the train have I've really there's a place in my heart for all of them, and I'll miss you all very, very much.
Most definitely, yes. Okay.
So
and to all the people overseas, thank you for your help and your kindness and your love. I'm sure when Mr. Khan will give you a down. What do we say?
Kind of some, I don't know. Just tell the story.
Yeah, you tell the story. That's it. You will tell the story. Okay.
This is our psychologist. I don't know if he's Xander.
Hi, Xander.
Xander is the chap with the cat. He's the one who picked up the cat and everything. And
Hero.
The hero.
Hello.
And I don't know if you have met